Good evening. Good evening again. I hope you've enjoyed that very sumptuous dinner. Did you? It's long since I tasted ostrich meat. So I was very pleased today that I could have a taste of the ostrich meat. And Johnson, because we are celebrating the Africa Climate Change and Environment Reporting Award ceremony, first I would like to say on behalf of the bank, congratulations to the awardees who will be receiving the awards later tonight. And we would like to say that we are very proud of their achievement as the bank. We're very proud of what the Pan-African Climate Justice Alliance has done. And we would like to extend our best wishes, but also to say that we are ready to work together with them to build this award into a much more meaningful tool and instrument to advance environmental reporting across Africa. Personally, let me just quickly tell you one little story of mine. In 2000, which is about 18 years ago, I finished my master's studies at the Michigan State University in the U.S. And in those days, you know, when you come from Kenya and you go to school in the U.S., it was very modest. You have a scholarship and you don't have much more than that. But while I was studying there, I bought a small car. It was called a Geo Metro. It's equivalent to what I see today in Nairobi as Uber Chap Chap. Do you see the Uber Chap Chap? Do you see the size of that car? I think it's about 800 cc's. So my car was 800 cc's, but it wasn't a new car like the Uber Chap Chap. It was already 10 years old at that time. So when I finished my studies, I sold that car, and you know how much I sold it for? I sold it for $600 US. Now, at that time, I was coming back to Kenya, and I was going to try and find a job when I come back. But what I was really interested in, I was interested in environmental photography. You've ever heard of environmental photography? Today we are celebrating environmental reporting, but I was interested in environmental photography. So what I did, I took the $600 and I bought a precious camera. In those days it was called a single lens reflex wide angle camera. It was state of the art at that time, a camera that cost you $600. Fast forward, and to cut a long story short, I traveled with that camera on my first mission to West Africa, and I went to Senegal. And we drove out of Dakar into what they call the Peanut Basin. And if you've been to the Peanut Basin, it's a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful section of rural Senegal with very big baobab trees that are about 200 to 500 years old. So there I was on my first assignment. I took some shots, very nice shots, very nice pictures. But when I came back to the hotel in Dakar, I was leaving the next morning on a flight. We used to have Air Afrique those days. And so when I prepared to leave the hotel in the morning, I went to the reception to pay my bill, and I had already packed my bags and I stashed away my camera inside the luggage. And when I came back to my room, unfortunately, my bag had been broken into and my camera had been stolen. So I was not, from that point, able to pursue my dream of environmental photography. But I dreamed that one day, that this ceremony here that we shall preside over today on the Africa Climate Change and Environmental Reporting will soon lead to what we call, guess what? Many of you watch National Geographic, isn't it? What is the Africa equivalent of National Geographic? It doesn't exist. National Geographic does, the equivalent of Africa's National Geographic doesn't exist. So I hope one day the ACCER, under the leadership of PACJA and their partners, can turn into a permanent feature that we call the African Geographic, but I don't want to call it the African Geographic. I want to call it the Across Africa TV channel. And that our journalists, our African journalists, can be able to capture the story of Africa's environment and package it very nicely with their skills and with their techniques into this magnificent channel that I hope, just the same way that MultiChoice hosts the Supersport for us, I hope one day MultiChoice can also host for us the Across Africa TV channel. With those few remarks, ladies and gentlemen, let me wish you well and let me wish the awardees well too. Thank you very much.